Welcome to a 2v2 on Minsk Pocket, double over Commando West in the south versus mixed allies in the north. We have Nevix and Stormcloud MrBeaverPatrol playing as the allies, and we have, remember the name, Chuck Norris, and remember the name, Zarok, playing as the Axis. And this is definitely a very Axis-favored map, at least in my opinion, particularly against the United States. So it will be up to MrBeaverPatrol to help supplement things. And things may be challenging for Nevix here as things escalate into late game if they do not have a very decisive early few engagements, but we'll see how things work out. From Chuck Norris, we are going to see a very quick commander choice, breakthrough tactics, and we're seeing a Volksgrenadier start, and it looks like he may be going straight into a second squad of Sturm Pioneers, judging by his manpower. Yep, second Sturm Pioneer coming out. If we look at Zarok, we do have double Volksgrenadier start as well, moving things up across the left side. And from the allies, Nevix, we have double riflemen moving straight down the right side, and from MrBeaverPatrol we have Maxims coming out very strong, no conscripts at all, just straight into the Maxims. So it looks like he's going to be making heavy use of weapon teams here in the early game. Lots of scouting being done by the supply half-tracks from Zarok and Chuck Norris. And it's going to be taking quite a bit of damage from that Maxim machine gun, but fortunately these Sturm Pioneers get clear, although he's continuing to just give free veterancy to that Maxim. I'm not sure why he's not moving. There he goes. And we also have some Volksgrenadiers moving up here on the left. Victory point will be getting taken by these combat engineers. Meanwhile, the south victory point getting taken by Chuck Norris. And we also have a bit of a cutoff by the Sturm Pios over here, but he's going to be cut off in his retreat path, it looks like, by these American troops. And he will need to be careful. Sturm Pioneers will lose an engagement against two squads. The rear echelon troop plus rifleman combo will be able to overwhelm Sturm Pios at pretty much any range, especially if the rear echelon troops tank most of the initial damage. But it looks like the allies are busy moving up on the center here, pushing back supply half-tracks. They won't be able to set up under Maxim fire without potentially losing their resource investment. And it looks like the second squad of Sturm Pioneers is going to be moving up, but it's caught at a slightly disadvantageous position. The rear echelon troops do tank the damage, and it looks like he's going to retreat them perfectly. So that was a perfect example of how you can optimally do that as Americans, tanking most of the damage on the rear echelon troops and then getting out, getting the Sturm Pioneers taken down, quickly focus them down with your riflemen. And here those riflemen are doing quite nicely, overwhelming these Sturm Pios with superior numbers, and he could charge straight through here, I think, and have a decent chance of winning the engagement, but it looks like he's just going to hold up for now. We actually have some Sturm Pioneers over here getting suppressed, and Maxim then being forced to reposition. So the Axis will actually maintain an advantage over here on the left side, whereas the Allies are not pressing their advantage particularly hard over here on the right for whatever reason. Maxim is going to catch these Volksgrenadiers though. They're going to get suppressed at range. Sturm Pioneers trying to do some damage from the flank though, and they should be able to if these riflemen don't move up to support or screen. And it looks like the overwhelming firepower of Zarok's troops is going to push these units back. And it looks like over here on the right he wasn't really decisive enough in these engagements, didn't push, and eventually he himself got pushed back by I don't know. I mean, he hasn't taken any casualties. I guess he just didn't feel that he could win that engagement, and he made a retreat. Things are looking really poor for the Allies right now. Maxim's not performing terribly well. We do see 4 of them on the field. They're getting outmaneuvered, forced to retreat. Allies retreating a little bit conservatively here. I almost feel like they could stay in some of these fights a little bit longer. Just constantly getting outmaneuvered here. It's troubling, and they're going to have to regroup a little bit and make a coordinated push. Otherwise, things could be difficult for them. MG34 on the field from Zarok, so that is going to be Fortifications Doctrine chosen. Definitely a good pick on this map, especially if you throw down some of those S-mines with the Volksgrenadiers. Riflemen getting forced back. They will make it away alive, and we do see a lieutenant on the field from Nevix. And a pretty decent sized force of American troops moving up here. We've also got a Soviet mortar hitting the field, so hopefully they'll be able to score some kills with that. Volksgrenadiers forcing back some combat engineers over here. These rear echelon troops are not going to be having much more success themselves. And we really need to see some territory get retaken by the Allies here. The right side is pretty much completely undefended, so a good strong push for that would be good to see. And we also note that the American is in desperate need of an ambulance. He risks a lot of manpower bleed going into these engagements with such heavily wounded squads. And we do actually see Armor Company being chosen by the American. He has a 4th rifleman on the field. Leaving the base a little prematurely, possibly. The ambulance, however, is being produced. We also have a 50 cal getting produced, coming shortly after his lieutenant, and I would expect to see an AA half-track as soon as he has the fuel for it. He's currently up to 55, probably be getting that in the near future, and it looks like he's being very conservative with his riflemen, not wanting to go in until he's healed up, and that is costing him a lot of precious time, given the Axis map control for this much time is going to be troubling. If we take a look at the Axis' resources, Chuck Norris is already got a mechanized regiment headquarter and a Stuka on the field at 7 minutes, so definitely way too much fuel and munitions coming in there. And Zarok has not got any high fuel purchases yet, but he does have 50 fuel stockpiled, and he does have his Panzerschwerer headquarters going up right here. It's kind of obscured by the trees, but it is going up right there. So that is a lot of high-tech stuff coming out from the Axis quite quickly, only 7 minutes, 30 seconds into the game, and meanwhile the Allies don't even have any light vehicles just yet. We've already got that Stuka firing. Looks like it's firing on this Maxim over here. Pretty respectable damage, already 3 kills, although I'm surprised it didn't go in on this blob. Plus a Stuka can one-shot an ambulance if it gets a lucky hit, so probably would have been better to aim it over here, but I guess they weren't quite sure where the American blob was just yet. Fortunately, we do have the lieutenant harassing down the right side, so some map control will be retaken, and that is definitely good to see. Lots of harassment from the MG34 on those riflemen. Almost Vet 1, and once it hits Vet 1, it will have access to the armor-piercing rounds, which will make it that much more dangerous for these infantry to contend with, and MGs are a real threat to the American in particular, especially if we don't see any grenade tech. He's actually researching bazookas of all things. That's an interesting choice. I don't know why he's doing that. Maybe he's thinking he's going to rush this truck. I don't know. That's very weird. Troops standing by. Definitely would not recommend bazookas ever, personally. I think they're one of the worst things you can possibly spend that 60 munitions on. Grenade going off over here, some good casualties inflicted, but nothing particularly decisive. They will be able to reinforce. We also have a Sturm officer here, giving bonuses to this huge blob of various stuff, and the lieutenant is being forced to contend with some G43s over here. G43s are better at mid to short range. This might be slightly long range for them, but of course the lieutenant has a Thompson and a Bars, pretty good at medium range. It's going to be close. I think that the Fusiliers have the advantage here if the lieutenant doesn't take up a position in the building or anything like that. I don't know though. It's could be a close fight. I'm not sure who's going to win that. Lots of healing continuing to go on over here, and we actually do have a Lux hitting the field already. He rushed that right out of his Panzerschwerer headquarters, and if we take a look, I think he'll probably be getting some Obersoldaten to follow that up. Yes, he will. The Panzer Fusiliers do get chased off by some supporting riflemen, and the lieutenant will make his way back to the base for healing and reinforcement. And now it looks like the Allies are really doing quite well for map control, having retaken the entire left and right sides, although the munitions is falling to the Axis once more, as the Lux has forced back most of the units over here. But there is a field gun setting up over here, and it looks like it's moving into position to deter that Lux a little bit. The Maxim is taking heavy damage though, and will be forced away. And the MG-34 is actually going to catch that field gun in its arc, so he'll probably want to move back a little bit. And now we have bazookas purchased on these riflemen, and they will be able to deter the Lux a little bit with those, although I still think a well-microed Lux can be quite a pain for riflemen to deal with, bazookas or no. Field gun gets cleared by the Stuka barrage right there, but the Maxim makes it clear just in time, and the ambulance is left unharmed. Lots of infantry as well as the light tank over here. I don't think these two squads of riflemen can win against the sheer size of this force. Grenade nicely dodged though. We do see shock troops working on the central victory point, although two Sternpio squads may be able to defeat the shocks if they don't get suppressed. However, the Maxim providing support is going to definitely be a problem. That squad forced retreat now and quickly follows, and the support from those riflemen will also help in this area. And the Spare Panzer headquarters is not in range to fire on the central victory point, but it will be able to effectively defend this fuel, and until some AT gun support is brought up to deal with that, it's unlikely that the Allies will be able to retake the fuel. But at the same time, more resources need to be dedicated to retaking the right side. Sending one squad of G-43s may not be sufficient, but we'll see what happens. We do have a major getting produced, so we went from lieutenant straight to major with no intermittent light vehicles except for an ambulance, so he is stockpiling fuel for what looks like a Sherman. He could get a Scott, but he's skipping past that, so it looks like he's going for a quick Sherman. We actually have a pinned Volksgrenadier squad over here, narrowly making an escape, but it looks like it's going to cost him this Maxim. Nicely done by Zarok there, clearing that Maxim out and immediately salvaging it. That's a good thing to do if you have any Volksgrenadiers or Sternpios in the area. Get a quick resource bonus and destroy the team weapon in the process so that it cannot be recovered. Very nice play. We do have a squad of riflemen moving across the left side here. Not sure what he's planning. We do have a Stuka barrage going out on this pair of Maxims, destroying the gun completely and damaging this wing a little bit. I believe it was destroyed, yes. There's no gun left to be recruited here. Field gun's been recruited by the American. Good to see that happening. Major moving up to try and stay within veterancy range of these riflemen as well, hoping to vet that Major up, giving him access to sprint and better abilities. The fake smoke in particular is quite nice, despite his real artillery being virtually useless. Grenade going out on some riflemen over here. He wasn't paying attention, I don't think. He was busy microing his other fight on the left side. He does manage to retreat them before losing the squad, though, and the lieutenant will be able to force the Fusiliers away, and possibly these Volksgrenadiers will be moving in to help support against that. We do have these riflemen blobbing up a little bit, and it's costing him because he's getting suppressed by well-placed machine guns. And Obersoldaten are also quite a threat. Obersoldaten take out the Major possibly if he doesn't pay attention. Oh, but a nice mortar almost wipes the Obersoldaten squad. So that was a quick turnaround of turning over the tables there. And very lucky that that Major didn't just die. In fact, he could probably still go down if these Sturm Pioneers have the presence of mind to fire on him as he's retreating, but it looks like they're too busy with these shock troops, and he's just going to quickly retreat. Lieutenant is being forced to contend now with these Volksgrenadiers and Sturm Officer, but he's just going to retreat. Doesn't think he can win that engagement. If he had access to grenades, he may have been able to, or if he had simply tried to focus fire the Sturm Officer and force a retreat, but he didn't try to do anything like that. We actually have what appears to be a recon run coming in here now from MrBeaverPatrol. Yes, recon overflight, so he will be gaining access to vision over this area of the map, and he did that to supplement his Katyusha, which is now firing here. The plane unfortunately got shot down though, but it did give him a small window with which he could fire on opponent, netting himself 4 kills, so not a terrible barrage by any means, almost clearing this machine gun. Now it looks like the Stuka will be moving up to retaliate though. We also have a small defensive force over here on the left, maintaining victory point control for the Axis. So once again, things are looking very grim for the Allies, but we do note that there is a Jackson on the field. I was almost certain he was going to go for a Sherman, but he's going straight into Jackson. It's an unusually heavy amount of anti-tank being purchased by Nevix here, going straight into bazookas, going straight into Jackson, and it's leaving him a little weak on the anti-infantry front, relying completely on his teammates' Maxims to try and keep the opponent's infantry down, especially when up against Panzer Fusiliers with G43s, bars and AA half-tracks and things like that are often almost a necessity, but we'll see if he's able to make anything happen with his bazookas and Jackson here. Unfortunately, the Lux is nowhere to be found, so the Jackson won't really have any particularly juicy targets to fire on. It's just kind of going to do what it can over here on the left, which is not much. Shock's continuing to move up towards the center, and things are looking pretty much fine over here for the Axis. No big pushes have really been made toward that battle group headquarters or the Panzersperre headquarters, and things are looking kind of grim in that regard, but we do see that we've got counterattack tactics chosen by the Soviets. We might see a B4 gets constructed in the Allied base, and that could spell disaster for these blobbed up units from Zarok. We also might be seeing a KV-1 get called in, judging by the resource float. Not sure. Maybe he just doesn't know what to buy. We'll see what he chooses to do. Jackson taking a little bit of fire. Hasn't been able to find the Lux. We do see the American making a push once again for the right side, which is undefended. Probably should have been harassing this all along, but this push will hopefully get the victory points back under control somewhat. We do have a Katyusha barrage going out on the left side here, almost wiping out that machine gun and forcing a retreat, although we do have a bunker immediately behind, so we'll see what happens. The bazooka squads apparently have failed to accomplish much of anything in the face of all of these Obersoldaten over here.
M10 ready for action.
Storm Pioneers charging that Lieutenant Squad in green cover, and that will definitely get taken out. I don't think he's watching that. He caught it way too late. He risks losing the squad. Yep, there it goes. Full Storm Pioneer squad down just because he wasn't paying any attention. Giving that lieutenant a bunch of free kills, that definitely hurts. Major is way overextended, taking the victory point over here, but fortunately nothing is moving to retaliate. We do have an infantry support gun hitting the field as well. That might help against this Maxim. Maxim attempting to sprint away immediately gets cleared by a grenade, as well as Obersoldaten fire. Big force of infantry moving up here. I'm not sure that this 50-gallon small force of infantry is going to be sufficient to deter. The infantry support gun actually almost wipes the ambulance, and the Stuka will be firing as well, so that pretty much spells disaster for anything that attempts to stay here, and the ambulance does get taken down by the Stuka shot. So the Allies are getting pushed very hard. Huge force of stuff here. But there is a B4 on the field, and he built that in, unfortunately, a rather forward position. We also have a KV-1 getting called in. We'll see if he's able to hit anything with that, but I'm almost afraid it's going to get cleared. Oh, and he missed the Obersoldaten, unfortunately. It looks like it could. He risks getting it destroyed by these Volksgrenadiers here. And the Obersoldaten may be able to clear it as well. Fortunately, a Katyusha's firing. Oh, nice barrage right there, almost wiping that squad. It looks like they will get clear, although the KV-1 could be in trouble. Lots of Panzerschrecks being fired, but it looks like we will see a full retreat here in a moment as Chuck Norris had to retreat his forces, and Zarok will be soon to follow, it looks like. Although there is a Panther on the field, that is probably going to be the end of that KV-1. Oh, that full Volksgrenadier squad does go down, though, and we do have a lot of bazooka riflemen in range here. Unfortunately, no rifle grenades landed. And he doesn't have the munitions for a direct fire attack on the Panther, unfortunately. However, one well-placed standard shell could be disastrous, and he is firing. Oh, nope, he changed his mind. I'm not sure what's going on there. Is he changing his spacing or something? Yeah, I think he was rotating it. Rotates it a little bit. Probably going to be firing on something in this zone. Here it comes. Not sure what that's aimed at, but it could be devastating. Whatever it is, there it is, right there on the looks. Lots of damage. A lot of infantry get taken down too, and it looks like armor company artillery is being fired by Nevix as well. No, that's not armor company artillery. That's, I don't know what that was. I have no idea what that was. I'm still looking. Oh, that was major artillery. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was major artillery. Huh, interesting decision. That's always a mistake. Without exception, don't use major artillery. I don't know why he did that. Waste of munitions. Stern Pioneer firing on those guys. And surprisingly, they actually get forced back. Usually Shocks are able to beat Stern Pioneers one-on-one. I think they may have been in range of this MG34 though, and then they promptly get suppressed by a Maxim. And things are turning into a bit of a slugfest at this point. We actually have MrBeaverPatrol headquarters going up in a very exposed position. Very high risk of it being taken out by a tank push from over here, so I'm surprised to see that. That's a little bit bold, but he is hoping to prevent pushes. Oh, plane just crashed, a recon plane just crashed. He's hoping to prevent pushes past this munitions point with that MrBeaverPatrol headquarters so that he can focus his units more over here on the left, but again, that is a very risky proposition. We do have a Sherman hitting the field, Jackson's still alive, and fresh ambulance being produced. Only 11 kills on this Katyusha. I'm surprised by that. I was hoping to see some better barrages from that against this tightly clumped Axis troops, but we'll see what happens. B4 also continuing to fire. Nice shot on the, wow, nice shot on the battle group headquarters. Just wiped a Stern Pioneer squad that was repairing, I believe. It wiped some kind of squad. Maybe not Stern Pioneers, I'm not sure what those guys are, but maybe just Volksgrenadiers, I don't know. Some salvage going out on the looks, good move there, always important to remember to do that. You may also be recovering that MG34, important to try and keep those in the game. We do have the KV-1 freshly repaired, Sherman moving up with rifleman support as well. And it's pretty much going to be up to the Allied artillery to make things happen here. The B4 in particular is very important on a map like this. So we'll see if he's able to make good use of that. Hopefully the Axis will be able to clear some of the Allied artillery, either through the use of Puma, the use of their own artillery, or what have you. Recon overflight coming in on the battle group headquarters, trying to find some good targets for the Allied artillery. We also do have a bit of an engagement happening over here. KV-1 needs to get in range to support. Sherman won't be able to beat that Panther on its own. Unfortunately, the shot there misses. KV-1 takes a nice shot, does connect. B4 shot also fires over here. I'm not sure if that landed any kills, though. I didn't quite catch it. Yes, he got 4 kills with that shot, so that may have been another, yes, Stern Pioneer squad just got wiped by that shot. Very nice shot right there. Volksgrenadiers with Panzerschrecks moving up, trying to support, taking heavy damage, though, and they're going to be forced to make a quick retreat. Panthers also taking too much damage to stay on the field. We have a big push of shock troops and riflemen moving in on the battle group headquarters now. The only thing that can deter this is this MG34, but it's actually faced kind of poorly. Nice grenade, wipes yet another squad. This squad moving in, going to do some heavy damage. If we don't see a full retreat from Zarok soon, this could be disastrous. A Stuka's firing though. I'm not sure what that's aimed at. Moving directly away. It's aimed at something over there, I guess. Unfortunately, the shock troops aren't being babysit very well, and they actually allow an MG34 to reposition despite having a perfect opportunity to wipe just about everything over here. Oh, B4 is actually firing on those Volksgrenadiers, but unfortunately the shot went a little too far to the left. What was that? Was that a second B4 shot? No, I'm not sure what just did that. Yeah, I don't know. It's on cooldown right now, so he didn't exploit the bug. I'm not sure what that was, though. It's confusing.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector. Heavy tank here.
Jagdtiger on the field. That's interesting. There's not that much allied armor, and he actually kind of risks getting blown up by that B4. Jagdtiger is always a good decision on this map, but it will be important to dodge those B4 shots. Ooh, look at that damage, though. That was nasty, and the Axis definitely has the advantage for points right now. The Allies are getting pushed back. Oh, and that hurts too, losing that Jax. That's a shame. Yet these KV-1s continue their advance. They won't be protected by this tree line. However, rotating that Jagdtiger will leave it somewhat exposed. We do have a bit of a push coming in from the American. No MGs are being set up to stop it. I also don't know if that Stuka's off cooldown just yet. Yes, it is. It's firing. Could be devastating here. He's trying to dodge it. I'm not sure how he's angled it, though. Oh, that's a full squad down. That was quite well angled. Nice shot, taking out a full squad, but there is still quite a bit of stuff in the way, and unfortunately the Major actually managed to recover that Panzerschreck and the Fusiliers, of course, back. We do have some Obersoldaten, and with Sturmofficer support moving up. We've also got KV-1s pushing over here, Katyusha firing, and the battle group HQ has been destroyed apparently by something. Lots of Zarok's infantry over here on the left, though, doing what they can. Panzerschreck may connect with the Sherman. Panther support also available. Getting a nice shot in right there. However, his infantry are a little bit clumped. He's actually utilizing Blitz to try to help chase. Doing nice damage. Will he pursue? He knows the Jackson is dead, so it looks like he's going to risk it. No, he changes his mind and backs off. That's a shame. There's really nothing that can stop him other than these. We actually have a B4 shot going in on the Jagdtiger, but it missed, fortunately. The Axis just have to keep on being careful about dodging that B4. Try not to lose too much infantry to the Katyusha. They can definitely win this. They just got to keep up the pressure, get that victory point captured, and run out the clock. These KV-1s are a little bit dangerous for that Panther, though. And we actually do have a fresh Jackson being produced as well. So plenty of AT on the field. Although I still think that the bazookas were a mistake. I don't think that they have really performed very well. I haven't really done anything, honestly. More recon coming in. Jagdtiger is definitely going to be spotted. Those recon planes are getting shot down just about immediately by the AA, unfortunately. Which I think is kind of dumb. I think that they should actually have to produce a unit to shoot those things down, not just their buildings just automatically do it. Kind of unfortunate situation. Jagdtiger firing on that slightly overextended KV-1. I'm not sure what he was thinking with that little maneuver there. Also appears to be a little bit of a pathing hiccup over here on this side as well. Trying to navigate through some tiny corridor. It's not working very well. B4 shot once again misses the Jagdtiger. He's been very fortunate in that regard. Shock troops do manage to maintain a hold on a central victory point. Sturmofficer trying to recapture, but he's not going to be able to do that in the face of all these riflemen. And that Jagdtiger is definitely proving to be a great investment. 3 kills already, I think. Only one of them a vehicle, but it's doing heavy damage to the Allied tanks. And it's pretty much rendering them completely unable to push. They all have to just sit back here and defend. They try and get too close, and it could be disastrous. Another B4 shot misses its target, although it does deal rather heavy damage to that Jagdtiger. We actually have a fresh looks getting produced, and it looks like this Schwer Panzer headquarters has managed to deter any pushes over here on the right side. It's so exposed, though, it would be almost trivially easy for these KV-1s to just circle around the right side and destroy that, so that's a bit of a missed opportunity from the Allies, I think. The whole right side is just so utterly undefended, and yet they aren't doing anything about it. So that's a shame. They're really letting the Axis control the pace of the battle here. In that regard. I don't know what these shock troops are doing either. They're gonna die. I wasn't watching that. Bit of a push by the Panther here. KV-1's repositioning.
Shock troops have arrived.
Or possibly changing their mind. New shock troops being called in. Panther's gonna push up. Could be in trouble though. I don't think it can beat 2 KV-1s. It does. Oh, a second Panther moving up and 2 Panzerschrecks supporting. That should help. Nice damage going in on the frontal armor, and the allies are definitely going to need to pull out. Oh, heavy damage on those Shrek squads though. Ouch. Leaving the Panthers to do their best on their own. Good move placing the double Vent Panther here in the front. It does have superior armor. However, he doesn't want it to get too damaged and rotates the positioning a little bit here. And now he's just going to pull back entirely. However, the Jagdtiger is moving up. Still no repairs going up on the Jagdtiger. That's a shame. He doesn't want to let that get focused down over the course of the game by B4 shots alone. Looks like a full squad of Obersoldaten just got wiped by that Katyusha. That hurts. The Lux is going to move up to try and stop any pushes here, but there is a bazooka on that rifle squad, which can do a little bit to deter that. Push continuing on the victory point over here. We do have 2 Jacksons being sent to push back, though. That's dangerous. Those Panthers need to be careful and get out of there. Fortunately, the Jagdtiger is up to support. Nice. KV-1 gets taken down. Oh, but the Jacksons take out that that thing, and he actually needs to hold fire off on that Jagdtiger, I think. If he's not careful, he could risk losing that here. Not sure what those Jacksons are planning. The smoke is blocking line of sight for pretty much everybody here. Panther does land a shot, but it's taking damage. Needs to back off. The B4 is not really angled in such a way as to be able to support this battle. Not sure if it's going to rotate. It's only got 17 kills right now, so I think he's kind of been neglecting it a little bit. Could definitely be using that a little bit more efficiently here. Yeah, it's not firing. Strange. Jacksons are going to reposition. I definitely think that the Jagdtiger could have been using attack ground during that exchange. But oh, there's a nice shot right there. I also almost wonder if he should be taking off hold fire here. He's certainly not going to be shooting at any infantry. But this Maxim is still holding strong, believe it or not. And wow, that Jagdtiger is doing an excellent job. Those Jacksons just both got totally destroyed. Some KV-1s are going to be in trouble too. We do have some allied pushes going for the right side. Lieutenant staying just out of range of the Schwerer Panzer headquarters. However, it looks like some G43s are shutting that down with the help of a Lux. Over here on the left, the Panther pushes away the Maxim, and the Sturm Pioneers are moving up on the left, and once again the Axis is going to have victory point control, although the Allies are going to at least slow the clock by taking this here in the middle. And map control in general is just much better for the Axis. Nice force retreat by the Sturmoffizier, but there's just another squad moving up right here, and we also have 2 KV-1s. This looks is going to run into those KV-1s as well, although it looks like he's pulling back for some reason. I guess he thinks the Jagdtiger is on its way and doesn't want to risk losing those. Wow. So much for that looks. Katyusha up to 20 kills as well. Needs to keep that thing firing though. Stuka has 45 kills, so that's definitely paid for itself many times over. Surprised this MG34 didn't move up to defend the victory point. Certainly think that one major with a Panzerschreck is not all that big of a threat. It's a shame that they're losing control of that victory point. We do have sector artillery coming in here, or assault artillery, or whatever it's called. So they're going to have to get some of these units out of this sector. They don't want to lose them. Bombs are going to start falling any second now. Panzerschrecks taking damage from KV-1 fire. Bombs are falling now, though. Pretty much everything in this sector is at risk, including this heavily damaged KV-1. Oh, the Jagdtiger actually destroys it. Wow, I can't believe how ineffective that assault artillery was. That did nothing. It didn't damage the Katyusha, did not get the KV-1. Jagdtiger didn't get any of these infantry. What a huge waste of munitions that turned out to be. It's probably one of the least reliable artillery abilities in the game. This Panther's also blocking the way of that Stuka, which almost gets taken out by bazooka fire. Oh my goodness, a B4 shot just destroys a Vet 2 full health Panther. That was ridiculous. I can't believe that it just died at full health. It had no damage on it whatsoever, and it was obliterated by that shot. I wonder if he used precision strike or if he used the regular barrage. I'm not sure.
Showing weakness. We are down to
Ouch.
75 points.
That was bad. Not sure they could really afford to lose that Panther, but at the same time, the Jagdtiger's still alive. We also have the MG-34 moving up to protect this point. We do have a good push going in for the center, and if they can get that retaken, the clock will start ticking very quickly. Axis fully has control of the right side once again. The Allies are struggling a little bit to push for the victory point, instead focusing on this Jagdtiger. We do have a pretty strong force of infantry going to take it out, and the Jagdtiger is utterly unsupported right now, but at the same time, all of these bazooka shots are getting deflected. Oh, that was a devastating B4 shot right there. And now the Jagdtiger's in serious trouble, and it gets abandoned with a rear echelon squad right nearby to recover it. Oh my goodness, that is the worst thing that could have possibly happened, and if the Axis doesn't destroy that immediately, there could be serious repercussions. More assault artillery coming in on this sector. Pretty impotent though. And it looks like the Jagdtiger's going to escape. The Stuka could make an attempt to destroy it. It looks like that's what it's going to do. But the Axis armor is going to be in a lot of danger now. MG-34 is also getting overwhelmed. Lieutenant and Captain Thompsons are definitely doing heavy damage. Lieutenant comes unsuppressed, and he probably should have retreated that earlier, although it's unlikely that it was going to survive, pretty much regardless of what he did. Stuka firing. Taking out a AT gun there. I think the B4 also just wiped an entire squad. Wow. It is a shame that the Axis didn't make a more concentrated effort to take this out earlier once they knew it was up, because now that it's triple vet, it's extremely dangerous, capable of one-shotting vetted Panthers. It's crazy. And if that wasn't dangerous enough, the Allies also now have a Jagdtiger in their control. Although they will need to get it quickly repaired, as they only have 40 points remaining, and if the Axis can just get the clock down, should be okay. Katyusha and KV-1 fire are forcing a lot of this Axis infantry back, unfortunately. And it looks like those Obersoldaten will be pushed away. And now the Allied tanks finally have free reign of the battlefield once more, thanks to the Jagdtiger no longer being a threat. And things are looking very bleak for the Axis. There is a Panther hitting the field, but up against a Jagdtiger, that's not going to be able to do anything. And the Axis infantry has been bled so badly by the constant artillery fire that they're finding themselves now in a very precarious position. I'm not sure they're going to be able to come back from losing that Jagdtiger. I don't think they could afford for that to happen, and it's already healed up to full thanks to a little bit of late game rear echelon troop spam. And now it's making its way to the front lines, and I think that the Axis is going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this. I'm not sure what their solution's going to be. He might bring in another Jagdtiger. It looks like that's exactly what he's planning to do. B4 shot lands right here. Don't think that took anything out though. Panzer headquarters is getting pushed by a Jackson. Pulling back though. more assault artillery coming in on this sector. The sector is just so big that it doesn't land in a very concentrated area, so it's completely random whether or not it takes anything out. Katyusha, on the other hand, inflicting heavy losses. Almost losing that full Volksgrenadier squad. Okay, look at the size of this force of infantry, though, moving back up. Fortunately, the Allies, I guess, just haven't been bled quite as hard as the Axis have, despite how well that Stuka has been performing. It's just not enough. And the Allies will be able to maintain their hold on the central victory point. And believe it or not, another Jagdtiger was called into the field, getting upgraded with the rotation speed, engine improvements as well. So it's going to be a Jagdtiger versus Jagdtiger game, which I can definitely say I have never seen happen before. Oh, and look at the damage on that Panther. That hurts. That Panther is just feeling the pain. You can definitely tell that Zarok is not used to having to fight a Jagdtiger as over commando. And that is very problematic. Very problematic indeed. This second Jagdtiger is pretty much going to be their only hope. Fortunately, G43s do have a small victory over here on the right side. Got a Katyusha firing here on all this infantry. Oh, that looks like that hurt really badly. That's going to be a lot of manpower for Zarok to reinforce all those wounded Obersoldaten. And this Jagdtiger really shouldn't be moving up unsupported. This Jagdtiger has 2 squads available to repair, some bazookas, a Jackson, an AT gun, machine guns, all kinds of support at the ready. This Jagdtiger is sitting all alone.
Jagdtigers have arrived on the front.
And things are looking very bleak for the Axis here. And it's a shame that we never saw a Puma produced to try to take out the Katyusha. We never saw any attempt to eliminate this gun. They easily could have at one point in this game. They had Obersoldaten up there, they had a bunch of Panzerschrecks. They should have focus fired it down and gotten it off the field, but they let it get up to Vet 3 and the consequences have been disastrous. Fortunately, we had a nice Stuka shot right there, taking out a lot of squads. Obersoldaten also going down though, unfortunately. I'm actually somewhat surprised that we haven't seen any zeroing artillery until now. I'm not actually sure where that got dropped. Oh, it got dropped way up here. Very nice. I wish that had happened earlier, but finally the B4 gets taken out. Good decision. Very good move. That's going to help keep that Jagdtiger alive, but of course, this is a problem as well. And it is good to see it getting used on the B4, but at the same time, they could have easily benefited from it being used in this area as well. Certainly a Jagdtiger would have a lot of trouble navigating out of the zone of fire. And this victory point is certainly not going to get retaken anytime soon, with 2 KV-1s defending. Have another KV-1 defending along with some team weapons and a big force of infantry and the Jagdtiger, so the Axis have to make a very, very coordinated, very effective push, but they can't blow up too hard or they of course risk getting shut down by artillery. The Katyusha is still alive, and it's Vet 3, so we need to be careful in that regard. We actually have a lot of vet up on this Stuka, or a lot of kills I should say, but not that much veterancy, unfortunately. That wasn't the best barrage. A really well-placed Stuka barrage could definitely help equalize things. He can't really afford to fire blind. He's gotta land some really nice solid hits here. Fortunately, they do have a little bit of time. They're not going to be losing this anytime soon. There's 130 points remaining. The Allies only have 40. So if they just try and build up, make some good pushes, try not to bleed too hard, they could definitely still come back here, but they need to not be throwing away Panthers into this Jagdtiger. They can't afford to make any more mistakes. They really need to close the deal here. I really want to see these 2 Jagdtigers fight each other, but neither of them is getting too aggressive. This one's finally moving up with the infantry support. Katyusha is firing on these Obersoldaten, I think. Oh, but the barrage is off by a little bit. They actually get a little too close, and the Katyusha barrage is going to miss. Oh, but he retreats. I don't know why he just retreated just right there. He actually retreated into the Katyusha, but he should not have done that. I think he maybe could have even won against this kind of small force of infantry here. Stuka counter barraging. Looks like it's going out on the this stuff here. Once again, it does just about nothing. It almost destroys the gun. So one more barrage is probably going to finish that gun off. Still kind of disappointing. And it is finally Jagdtiger versus Jagdtiger time. They're both firing on each other here. Doing heavy damage. It looks like we have some kind of artillery coming in, though. Yeah, that's Armor Company artillery. Oh, Armor Company artillery combined with a B4 shot, combined with multiple Jagdtiger shots, and that gets taken out. Which just goes to show that supporting units is important. We do have zeroing artillery going in here. Could be very disastrous for this AT gun. Yep, there that goes. Ambulance and Jackson probably going to be soon to follow. Looks like they don't have vision over here, though, in this fog of war. Could that be the case? Oh, there. A couple shells land. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that they had vision. I don't think they had vision on some of this stuff. Oh, the Jackson does go down, though. And some nice casualties inflicted on these approaching infantry as well. Oh, I think that was actually assault artillery combined with zeroing artillery, so that was a lot of artillery. That explains the ridiculous quantity of shells there. Jackson killing a Rakettenwerfer of all things over here. I mean Sherman, not Jackson. And KV-1s are also still defending. It's kind of a shame that that artillery didn't go in before their biggie push. Kind of went in afterward, so I think they timed that somewhat poorly. I think their push might have gone better had they been dropping those shells during the actual attack. Wow, that plane crash almost fell on this massive units. That would have been pretty funny. Fortunately, the stars didn't align that way. Katyusha being launched at the Schwerer Panzer headquarters now, trying to take advantage of the low cooldown from its high veterancy. Not really doing all that much, but I believe that it will be able to fire again quite soon. Every 40 seconds or so, it looks like, before also taking some shots. And that's a fresh B4, by the way. It doesn't have any veterancy. That one was just now produced. Finally, we see a tank taking advantage of the exposed Schwerer Panzer headquarters over here on the right, and it's actually a bulldozer Sherman of all things. Producing one of those quite late in the game. We also have Vet 1 on the stolen Jagdtiger now. Stuka firing. I think that actually took out a full captain squad. Lieutenant is retreating. So that was a nice shot by that Stuka, but now that this bulldozer with bazooka support is clearing out the Schwerer Panzer headquarters, there will be a push for this victory point, and the clock is going to start ticking quite quickly against the Axis, and they may risk losing their lead here. They're also rather lacking for AT. Most of their Volksgrenadiers have been wiped out. Our Obersoldaten obviously have no AT capability, so they're having trouble dealing with all of these KV-1s and Shermans and such. Nice use of force retreat, though, getting those out of there, but it would be kind of ill-advised to try and take this victory point with the KV-1 sitting right there. Fortunately, we do have our Rakettenwerfer moving up, doing what it can, starting to vet up. It's got camo, but it will die in the face of this bulldozer Sherman. It's not careful. Fortunately, the bulldozer's actually a little bit damaged, so it has no choice but to back away.
The enemy has 75 points remaining. You appear suited for command.
Still no Puma being produced. It's 48 kills on there now. I think assault artillery just got called in on this victory point for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because it's extremely expensive to just be calling in willy-nilly like that. Alright, well, nothing's gonna get hit by that. More Rakettenwerfers hitting the field, moving up. Panzer Fusiliers waiting for the right time to approach, but the Katyusha is firing. Nice spread of rockets right there. clearing both Morphers, destroying one. Panzer Fusiliers trying to move up now, although there's no longer any anti-tank support. The Lieutenant's probably also going to be able to stop them, and finally it looks like the Axis lead is going to be gone as they fall below 40 points over here. If they don't do something drastic, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Looks like a Panther is actually going in deep, trying to flank the Jagdtiger here, in conjunction with a well-placed Stuka barrage over there on the right side, almost clearing out that Lieutenant, but unfortunately, there is a Sherman with the AP rounds equipped, there is a KV-1, and the Panther won't be able to make anything happen, and the game ends. They surrender because there's just nothing they can do. So, wow, that was quite an intense game. Definitely a huge turnaround due to the stealing of that Jagdtiger, which was just devastating for the Axis, to say the least. And the star of the show was really the Allied artillery, which was never very effectively countered, at least not until it was too late, with the zero-wing artillery on the B4 way in the back. And the Katyusha never got destroyed. And there was a point when the Axis were pushing the Allies so hard that they had like multiple squads of Shreks and Obersoldaten right around the B4. They could have destroyed it, but they didn't. They were too busy worrying about like a KV-1 or something, and I think that really cost them the game, especially since they never really managed to push back that far again. But of course, a lot of things could be said that cost them the game. The Jagdtiger getting stolen cost them the game. Losing too many Panthers cost them the game. Could go on and on about all the different little mistakes they made that kind of culminated in this Allied victory. So well played by the Allies, capitalizing on those mistakes. It's always fun to see the Allies somehow pull out a win, even against Jagdtigers and such, on Minsk Pocket of all maps. So this was definitely a good one to watch. Very entertaining. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always send me one of your replays, and I'm happy to do a cast for you. Otherwise, I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.